Welcome back. Right, roof rack addressment. We're going to get back to that. Another job that I've done. Me gauges, which I said I was going to do. There you go. There is a light in that one, but it isn't very good. The gauge is old and it's second hand and it's a little done in. This one came off a trike. I had to sand the bezel down and paint it in matte black just to hide the rust, because the one I originally put in there, the needle didn't sit exactly on naught, and it was a pain in the butt really. It was too bright as well for nighttime driving. That blue was in your face and it was quite blinding. So that's the best I could do with that. Definitely another update. Okay, so this side is now fully painted and I'm quite pleased with it. That's come out quite good. What I want to do, to whether it will get done or not, I want to lay some checker plate, corner plate over the top of these bars just to protect them. So that one, and that round one, and then that's it really. Okay, new day. Just want to demonstrate something. Conduit, a little bit of that. And there's a few of these. I've got some larger ones that I found. So what I've got from that old fire engine, I had to paint it because it's in a bit of a mess. So that's going to go up there on the bracket, or underneath, I don't know which yet. And then we've got two smaller threads, and we've got a load of old conduit on the floor, which I'm going to thread through. I can't get that at Tool Station. I haven't seen it. The small stuff, the big stuff they have, but not the small stuff. So I'm literally going to thread both of these through, like so. Now, a big effort went on to this because those light bars, both of them were right-handers. Excuse me. Excuse me. Both of them were right-handers. What I mean by that is the wires came out at that right side and again right side. I had to undo every single Allen screw, every single one, slide everything out, slide it back in. It almost didn't happen because there's some rubber grommets inside here that seals the lens. Not that they'll do much at all, but I had to carefully slide it back in. There, it snapped it. And I think I succeeded. They're not very waterproof, these. I'm not expecting them to last long. Right, next day. I did this late last night. This is kind of where I want to go with this. So I've threaded the aerial wire through. This aerial is going to be plumbed up to the stereo because I'm struggling to get reception on radio 1 and radio 2. And the fact having a large antenna on the roof I thought might look good at the same time. So I thought, do you know what, we'll kill two birds with one stone and go with that. But then again, it might look utterly stupid when I've done it. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, light bars are on, as you saw yesterday. And well, next, I've got to get this outside. Got to tidy this one up. That's going to go in the middle, somewhere like that. And then these two wires here with some tubes in there will be threaded in, and we'll seal them up with some sealant and on the ends here, so moisture can't get in. And we're gonna, once we've got them threaded through, we'll solder them together with clips, and then we've got on the actual loom that's got to be threaded through. This is where it's going to get a bit difficult now, because we've got all of this muck here. There's the ends. They've got to be joined on inside. I might chop them off and just straight solder them. I don't know yet. We'll see. But they've got to go in. That's got to be threaded through. That's got to come up, and it's got to go in there, in that one, and then down that one, and then and then at some point we've got to mount this on the car. I ain't sure how that's going to happen. So we've got to do what we've done here. I've got to do on the CB aerial over there. So I've got to chop plug off, which I think I've already done. Thread a load of pipe work in, so the pipe's got to come round and then go to the centre, and then that one, the centre one, then got to come up and go into that. These don't fit very well, so I ended up removing the rubber seals. Not a lot I can do about it. The pipe hose is too big. I don't have any other apart from the stuff that came with fire engine. That's covered in paint, so I'm not going to sit there for hours on end trying to get rid of it. I've already sprayed these up to try and hide the primer that was on them. So I've put plastic primer over the top while I brushed them back first, obviously, and then put some bed liner. No, it was spray can actually. What was left of one. So that's what I've done to try and match it up. We've got bed liner on the main plastic itself. Probably won't last, but we've done it anyway. Once we've got all of this wiring done, we should have a big wad of wire hanging down, and then we'll mask off this, lay it back on the roof again, mark on the roof with Tipp-Ex where those shapes are, and then we'll put double-sided sticky tape onto that surface where the masking tape is, gently peel that all off, and then we'll lay the sticky sided side on with the hole marked, and then I'll drill through on all 4 of them. That's the bit I'm dreading. I'm really dreading that. Angle's important as well. Get that angle wrong and we're in trouble big time. I was going to put this on the roof and upload, but I didn't have enough time. I had to go back to Suffolk Fasteners, get more P-clips. I've got another 3 more in there, and if I filmed this or not I don't know, but this is where I'm at. I've got conduit everywhere. That's kind of gone back to the future a bit, but I like it. I absolutely do like it. It's nice and gnarly and rugged, and it just works. For me personally, I think that works, and I'm rather pleased with the way all of this has slowly established itself. We're not using that on the D22, but I may chop it up and add it to this at a later date. However, look at that. I am so pleased with this. Don't get me wrong, the aluminium could do a repaint, and it's only bolted on, and it's kind of, I wasn't planning to do it this way, let's put it like that, and I can't go any higher on the ladders, otherwise it won't line up with the rack that's currently on the back now. So they had to get bolted in underneath, so the load capacity, weight capacity is not great, but we can always run more bolts through at a later date. That's not an issue whatsoever, but I do want to take them off and give them a quick paint, so that's the only reason why there's 1 bolt on each side. But there you go, it's all in place. So we slide them out. The purpose of them is when I build my camper body, because we're going to be over stretching the sides of it, well, you can pull them out and we'll have room for those. So that's the purpose behind them. The light bars are there for high beam primarily. That was where I was going with that, so I'm quite pleased so far with that idea. The only thing that is different that you'll probably notice is the pipework for that one goes above, pipework goes under. There's nothing I could do about that because of the way the aerial's plumbed in. That one goes in underneath the aerial, and that one went in at the top of the aerial. That's kind of it really. So we've got one more piece of conduit to add to there to go down the pipework, which is going to be mounted to here, and it'll come out and then go down onto the wing. These ones, plate will be made which will come out and go down as far as the base, possibly even the sill, I'm not sure yet, and that will be held in with just self-tap bolts. Nothing special on that one, just to give a little bit of side impact protection, but not only that, it's to take some of the weight off the roof so the roof don't bow up. Next stage, this is one that's been scaring me the most. I've now got to take it out front, put it on the roof, draw around the feet, bring it back in the garden, put some sealant underneath the feet. No, I haven't, sorry. I've got to put some tape, mark out where the hole is on tape, put some double-sided sticky tape to that, peel that off gently. I'll probably put a bit of foil tape on top of the masking tape, and then put the double-sided over the top of that, cut it all out. So I've got templates of each foot with the centre hole marked, and then what we'll probably do after that is put some sealant underneath, some Tiger Seal, and grease up a piece of plate just to push that up so it don't stick, so we get that level. but nice and thick. We'll drill the holes, then we'll lower that on top so it lines up the holes. But before we do that, where I've marked around it, we're going to mask that up, and then we'll put foil tape over the masking tape, and then when we push down on it and we do the bolts up, because it's going to swell the sealant, we can then get a knife and very gently cut around that. Because we've got the foil tape, hopefully that'll be enough protection not to take the paint out, and then we can remove the foil and all the tape, and then this thing is mounted, and then the next stage will be the four legs that will come off. I have got some paint touching up to do because we damaged it a bit on the back. I've managed to damage it here, but the other thing I'm planning on doing is I'm adding some aluminium. Well, I will put some of that over the top, a bit chunky really, but just to give that a bit of protection. And the front one, that's the most important one. The paint is going to get trashed on the front of this, so we'll either trim off some checker plate and put that on, which would look quite nice I think, or we'll cut some of that out that's left over and rivet and glue that on top, because it don't matter if that alley gets scratched, it's sacrificial. The paint gets scratched, that means it gets rusty, that means we get drips of rust on the roof, and when I do the respray on the car, if I ever get around to it, we don't want to ruin that, do we? So yeah, next stage, fitting the damn thing. Right, moving on. I'm now about, ooh, got that foot a bit wrong, didn't I? I am now about to tape up the bottom of the feet, mark out where the holes are. I've already marked out on the roof where this is going to sit. The tape can be then put on the roof, and then we can mark out the centre holes with an exact position, even though I'm going to make those holes a fraction bigger to allow for movement and play. After that, we will then lift it back onto the car, and we'll get some bolts when I figured out how long they need to be, or dowels, whichever, and we'll then run them through. I've got to put some sealant on there first, and I've got to let that go hard. So we're going to get a soapy piece of wood. We're just going to gently push down to get that even, and I think that's all I need to do there. So guess what, that's the end of the video for this week, because I've got another week's worth of work to do, because we've still got to put the struts in place, still got those to do, and I've got to build them. So I've got to go back to the yard, get some more metal because I haven't got enough, build the struts, paint them up, weld them on, or bolt them on, sorry. I then got to finish all the wiring off, so I've got to wire all of that up. I've got to get the aerials put in, CB fitted, and that is all for next week, where we'll pick up the electrics. Ooh, speaking of electrics, I was invited to try out an electric car. Well, as a passenger anyway, and trust me, it was lovely. It was a quiet, smooth, lovely ride. And the problem is it's brought me out in cold sweats. Man, me saying I love an electric car when I've hated them so much. Oh dear, I need some therapy.
How'd that sound? Oops. So long, gay boys.
I feel rehabilitated. Thanks for completing the video. I appreciate that. And we'll see you next week.